This is part 8 of my ghost stories. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened that made my mom believe me that the house was haunted. Real quick though, there's a trigger warning for mental health issues and also medical abuse. On top of that, Mama's got to lay down some ground rules. I'm going to be talking about some difficult conversations and scenarios that I had with my mom, and I don't want to hear or read a single bad comment about her. One, she's dead. She can't come on here like my dad did and talk about what she was doing or how she was feeling when all of this was going down. Two, she was the sunlight of my life, and I have been living in consistent dusk since she died. I'm not going to put up with it. I'll block you and you won't get to hear any more ghost stories, okay? Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you a little bit what led up to all of this. So the last time I had talked about these horrible nightmares I was having, I did get to the point where I was pretty consistently spending the night in my parents' room, not necessarily because I was being haunted like I had been when I was down in the basement, but because I was having these horrendous nightmares that I did not want to even be alone after I had them. So my mom actually took me to the pediatrician a couple times. She had me discuss these nightmares with them. And they told her to ask me more about maybe something's going on at school. We're in a new school system. We'd, moved down. We're far away from all of my friends. Maybe she needed to talk to me about other stuff. And so with those conversations, I started saying, hey, I'm seeing this little boy. I've seen this dark figure crawling around. I hear things around my bed all the time. I hear the doorknobs getting messed with. I've seen lights turn on. I've seen doors closed. And her logical brain answer to that was that something psychologically must be wrong with me, to the point where she started hunting around for a doctor who would prescribe me antipsychotic medication. She obviously had a hard time finding a doctor or therapist who felt, or psychiatrist, I should say, that felt comfortable prescribing me with antipsychotics, because obviously I was not starting to show signs of schizophrenia. I didn't really have many other mental health issues going on, but my mom was determined. I had to see tons of specialists. I had to go through all these tests. She told the school that I was having hallucinations. So then all of the administrators at the school, where I was frankly already kind of really starting to misbehave for several reasons aside from the haunting, I had all these administrators and teachers treating me almost like a leper, because it was the 90s and nobody could handle it. Sorry, I have to keep pausing this. This is really hard to talk about, because this was also the springboard that led to the worst time in my relationship with my mom. It just kind of kicked the whole thing off. So our relationship, through her basically not believing me and then pushing me into all these extra tests, and then basically I felt at the time telling my business that was incorrect to teachers who I didn't like anyway. It made it really hard for the two of us to be in a room together. So I think when this happened to her, I was definitely either almost 14 or just turned 14. But I ended up getting a huge apology from it. So I'm going to tell you what happened to her. Let me pull up the floor plan. Okay, so this is the floor plan of the main floor of my parents' house. So on the night this happened to my mom, she had insomnia my entire life. I think she probably had it her entire life, to be honest. And so one of her tricks was to change the location of where she is and hopefully fall asleep there. So anyway, so she had come downstairs from her room. Let me see if I can get my thumb to show up. And she was sleeping. God, why does it do this? Ridiculous. She was sleeping down here. I'll nod. She was sleeping down here against the wall on the couch. She said she never fell asleep. She was getting close. She was getting more tired. She was actually thinking about going back upstairs. And then this right here is the door to the basement. So the door to the basement was underneath the stairs that went up to the top level of the house. So she heard the basement door unlock itself and open. But when she looked, because she was laying, remember, oh my God, sorry, I'm so sorry. She was laying like right here. So I don't understand why this is so bad. So I'm going to get rid of this picture in a second. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Hopefully this is better. Holy cow. So she's sleeping right here. Yes, it is. Okay. And she hears this door open. She looks and it's not open. It's closed. However, this is her account that she told me and told so many people around me so many times. She felt someone standing right here staring at her. And she said the energy was so powerful, she followed it as though someone was actually walking through this room and up to her where she was sleeping on the couch. She said she got very cold. She was scared in that she was like, what is going on? But that she didn't get like a feeling that a lot of like myself and come to find out like poor friends that I had sleep over, she wasn't getting this like oppressive, nasty feeling. She just knew something was there and that she knew she had heard the basement door open even though it hadn't. Turning that crap off. It's driving me nuts. So she's sitting there, she's laying on the couch, she's looking up at where she feels this energy, but she can't see anything and she doesn't hear anything. And as she's sitting there staring at this, her hair gets physically tucked behind her ear. I'll say that again. Literally, I'll use my grown out undercut, moved behind her ear, like tucked. She said she didn't even feel her feet touch the ground when she got off of the couch and went into the kitchen. And she said she got into the kitchen, spun around and stared back where she just felt this all happen. And she said she literally was like brushing at her hair. And she then felt the energy start walking towards her. So she took off. So she's standing here looking into the room and feels the energy start walking this way. So she hauls ass down this hallway and up the stairs to get back into her bedroom. Gets back into her room, shuts the door and locks it, and goes to gently wake up my father. Now, when she gently woke him up, she was so freaked out. When she grabbed him, she actually left a couple cuts from her nails in his arm. And that's how freaked out she was. And she didn't sleep for the rest of the night. She sat up in bed, just freaked out. Did not sleep that night at all. The next day when I came down for breakfast, she was already waiting for me. And as I made breakfast, she just gave me a really heartfelt apology for not believing me and for, having me go through all these tests and, telling the doctors in the school that something was wrong with me. She then did double down that, like, obviously I have a hormone imbalance or something with all the nightmares I'm having, but she was genuinely apologetic. She was the only person in our house who was ever touched, and this would be the first time she was touched, not the last.